what's important and whatever, all that stuff.
Yeah. What about like the planes that like had to like do an emergency landing because of it? Did like it affect like did like anybody like drop it on your town?
I remember they grounded like all the planes immediately. Like I think like within hours there was no planes in the sky at all, like in the whole country. Something like that. I don't know. It happened very fast. And I actually read a book about a story of this town in Canada that was called was the town called Newfoundland, or is that the name of the province? I forget. Newfoundland. Anyway, and they had to accept a plane or maybe a few planes full of people that were, not where they lived. And this whole town just rallied around these people off this plane and just really took them in and welcomed them and made them feel comfortable and gave them what they needed, like in their homes and with their food. And, it was like foreigners and complete strangers. And they totally just made them, went the extra mile and just made them feel comfortable and safe and taken care of and helped them get what they needed and whatever. And so those little heartwarming stories, that we didn't know about that stuff until later. Like those stories they didn't tell those stories right when they were happening. We learn about that later. So it's just kind of a cool story.
Yeah, just town being overrun by foreigners.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
We expect it's Canada, nicest country in the world.
Right, that's true. Right.
That's probably what got the first impression of Canada being super nice. What are your thoughts on like all the stories of the different perspectives of like the firefighters witnessing it and like the people witnessing it and like hearing about their stories?
There's really horrible descriptions of what it was like in the actual scene of it, and it's really hard to hear. It's hard to listen to. It's hard to see video because there's like video of people jumping out of windows, and these buildings were, I don't know, hundreds of stories tall, and the thought of jumping out the window must have seemed the better option as opposed to what was happening inside the window.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's a really it's a hard thought, it's hard to stomach that.
Yeah.
And then, the story, like all the heroic stories of like the firefighters and whatever first responder or just Joe Schmo that's trying to help out in the middle, walking down the street, and, people that are helping people get out of the buildings or helping people get down the stairs, and they get some people out and then they're out and they go back in, right, and get more people.
Yeah.
And they whatever, they end up dying or something because they went back in to try and help more people, and it's like, oh my gosh, they were out.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow, amazing and horrible all at the same time. And oh my gosh. And then also just like for weeks after, the mound, huge piles of just rubble of these buildings, and how they had to sift through every piece of it to look for people. And there was all these billboards, or, I don't know, bulletin boards, I guess, like with pictures of people that were missing, like that family members had put up, and they'd like find a body, and then they would try to look at the body and try to compare to this bulletin board full of pictures of people to see if they could match, and say, oh, here's this person, I just think the task of that, it's hard. It's hard to imagine doing that and, coming away from that and being okay. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah, it sounds like a tragedy. Those firefighters, like hearing their, like, what was it? Sons of a firefighter, like children of a firefighter, hearing their like parents during that. So basically, that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you for having this time to do this interview with me for my grade.
You're welcome.
Anyways, and now you can go back and do whatever you need to do.
Okay.
All right. That's my interview.